step too far for me, Lee. There's only 2 videos on now, though. I think we can cope with that.
Okay, so recording has started. So you're live on Channel 4. Don't say, you know what not to say. Welcome everybody to the October Power Platform virtual happy hour. We're delighted to have you here with us. I also just got annoyed by something I saw on Reddit today that where somebody had posted, it's just really annoyed me that September, October and November are not the 7th, 8th and 9th months and December the 10th month, which obviously makes perfect sense. And now I'm annoyed about that, but it's something to do with changes in calendar. There used to be 10 months and so on and so forth. So that's my nugget of information for today.
That's a random fact. How have I never noticed that in, well, 31 years? Yeah.
Neither have I. I've literally never noticed until I saw that today. I was like, what? So moving swiftly on, I think we have a a code of conduct, which, not that we've ever had any issues with anybody being disrespectful in these meetings, or not that I was aware anyway, but just for everybody's comfort and consideration, it's just a quick slide about code of conduct, just you know, making you aware, to be aware of others and be patient and friendly and understanding and be open to questions. If anybody here, if anybody on this call hears or sees anything that they're uncomfortable with, do feel free to flag it up to me. You don't have to do it in the chat here. You can flag it up to me on text or an email. You should all have my email, I'm sure. If you don't, or if I'm the problem, then do feel free to call me out to Carl or Lee as co-organisers. You know, we don't want to be tolerant of any kind of misbehaviour here. Like a little bit of swearing's okay, but nothing disrespectful to other members. So thanks for your understanding and awareness. And this week we have a stupendous lineup in that we've got Simon doing Power Rangers, changing the world with Power Platform, which I think we're all very much looking forward to. Tamara's using custom voice to create surveys in 5 minutes, which is going to be super whizzy. Very excited to see that. And Ivan is doing as much PCF as we can get into 15 minutes. He did brag and say he was going to do PCF in 1 minute, but I think he's chickened out now. So that's fine.
Well, no, we're holding you to that, Ivan. You've got 1 minute now.
1 minute to get the point across. So without further ado, I would like to hand control over to Simon, and he'll give us his exciting customer journey, which I'm looking forward to. Take it away.
Thank you very much. So a bit of an introduction at the moment. So as you can see, I work for GSK, so global healthcare company. And this is about our journey over the last 2 years, really, and how I've championed the Power Platform and how we've deployed it. So it's less of a technical talk and it's more around kind of an enterprise scale. How have we navigated the path and on which pitfalls have we fallen in? So my background, I've been at GSK for 15 years and it's been a real mixture of roles. So some of them actually hands-on in a production operator role, making HIV and respiratory drugs. Some of it in a master data role, looking at SAP data, some of it about process improvement. And then I moved into tech and IT, and the last few years has really been around digital transformation. And the last 2, really the most exciting 2, because I've met a bundle of you folks, is around the Power Platform. So this is where it came from. So it came from people and it came from business problems. And like a lot of big organizations, we've got loads and loads of data, more data than we know what to do with. And in most cases, more data than we can actually gain access to and do some insights. We got loads of old paper processes. And so the Power Platform was primed to help us work in a different way. So this is a story about how we've done that. So as an overview, these Power Rangers, they're people across the whole business who have, over the last 2 years, come together, more and more of them. So we're nearly at 3,000 people in our internal community now, to change the world. So it might be changing the company world, it might be changing their own personal worlds, but it's impacting loads of people, and it's changing the culture and how we work as a company. So we started as 8 members, we're now at nearly 3,000. We were in one country, now over 61 countries around the globe. We've got about 3,000 makers across the company, and we've built a bundle of solutions. So they had Power BI reports, their Power Apps, their Power Automate flows, not so much Power Virtual Agent yet, but we'll see where that goes. And from a kind of a relationship perspective, it's broadened our internal network, and certainly mine external network, and meeting with folks across the community and other industries. And then our strategic partnership as well. So I'm working closely with Microsoft from an account perspective, as well as I am kind of linked into the engineering teams and the folks out in Seattle. And the cultural change bit is, over those 2 years, we've now seen that in lots of areas, we've got this culture of learning, we've got a culture of experimentation, we've got a culture of collaboration and sharing, and we've got a culture of personal growth as well. So big changes that have really been celebrated right up to the highest level. And we're getting even more of that. We're developing, we're growing, we're learning more as we go. So where it came from, obviously, everyone on the call is probably familiar with the tools. So we got access to the tools, or greater awareness of the tools. We're also going through this big agile transformation and looking to develop things quickly, test them, either it or kill them. So try and deliver value faster. And then getting inspired by some other companies out there also on that journey, like Spotify. So people who give 10% of the working time to their employees to come together into self-organizing teams and try and come up with something. So come up with something that they think their customers will love, something that will deliver value, something that will improve the product. And if it works, great, they do more of it. They try and build it into the product. But if they don't, well, they take the learnings and they move on. So they've built relationships, they've built knowledge by doing that. So my hypothesis really was, how do we bring all that stuff together and try and do something a bit different in GSK? Because as a 300-plus-year-old company, you can imagine we've got some pretty traditional ways of working in many cases. And that also iterated. So rather than it just being about capability building, it also turned into that cultural change piece in the more recent months and certainly the last year. Now, this is a change in the world. How things have worked in the past have been, people in the business would come to us as an IT organization. They would say, I've got this problem or this idea, and then we'd go away, we'd put something together, and then some months or maybe years later, we'd come up with a solution, and it would have taken time, it would have taken money, and then hopefully it would solve the problem for the person, or they'd still have the same problem as they did 18 months ago. Now, where we are now is with these tools, those groups can come closer together. So the business and tech are working closer together. It's more of a collaboration. We're using that agile mindset to try and get something in their hands very, very quickly. And as a result, we're delivering value at a lower cost and much quicker than we would have done before. And we're seeing more and more of that. So there's more appetite and closeness to try and break down that business and tech type silos that we've seen in the past. So the kind of real meaty bit. So how did I do it? So initially, it was really easy. So I just put in an hour a week with a bundle of people who I thought were really cool. So they knew their data, they knew their process, they were open to learning, they were enthusiastic. And every week we focused on learning. So it wasn't about me trying to teach them stuff, because I didn't know anything either. And we'd come together and we'd share what we'd learned. We would show the problems that we'd solved in our areas. We would share our problems and try and fix them with each other. And I was there not as the master of all knowledge, but as the person to try and link people together or unblock problems or get them licenses when they needed it, and all work together. And because it was a very different way of working, it was less constrained, it was under the radar. So leadership didn't really know that we were doing it at this stage. it was pretty fun. It was high energy. We laughed a lot, and we learnt a lot. And then we grew. So that first quarter, we went from just meeting as a local team to sharing things on Workplace, so internal Facebook for the company. And other people started to join us. They started to tell their stories. They started to learn as well. And we got up to 200 members, which seemed amazing. It seemed mind-blowing that there were people out there who wanted to learn and shape the company like we did and change how they worked. So the changes we saw in that time were really about me being the focal point and all the questions coming to me and me not having any answers, to really becoming that collaborative team where people would go off and they would find the answers to their own questions and they would come back and share them, because we all wanted to help each other grow and learn. We went from no knowledge to being able to deliver value through some of the solutions that we were growing. We went from complete uncertainty to slightly less uncertainty. We didn't really have a direction still. We were still focused on learning. We didn't really know how to use the tools or where to use the tools, but we were getting better. And then, as I said, that local team turned into a larger audience. It turned into other people across GSK coming together virtually to build a community. And these steps, every quarter, we saw improvement. So we got to a stage where, rather than under the radar, we became more obvious. So some of the things that the team were delivering were amazing, and they were starting to put them out into the business in their functions, maybe even wider, and getting some recognition of the value that they could bring. And the site director one day learnt about us, and there was some confused faces when they heard talk about the Power Rangers, as you might expect. But actually he called us all together, and we were a huge group by that stage, like 17, 20 people. And he thanked us for working in that different way, and also tasked us with some of the big problems across the site that could save, in some cases, millions of pounds. So that we went off and started working on those with a bit more direction. Now, with people embracing and loving the tools and being able to learn and deliver cool stuff that they've never been able to do before, that conflicted with their day job. So there was some tension to manage there, and working with some of the individual managers to help them see that the opportunity was theirs as much as it was the rest of the company's. And it really got recognised as a thing. It was a group of people who could really deliver value. And that continued to grow. So those local solutions, so Tobias created that Power BI report on the right-hand side. We started deploying it to other sites around the world. So we got to go to Spain, to our site in Aranda near Madrid, and take what he did and try and redeploy it and gain more value for that development time. We started to find a strategy. So how might these things be supported? What might the platform setup need to be? How might we configure environments? All that sort of stuff started to become more and more important. And it went up a level. So as well as the Where site director, it went up to VP levels, president levels, and we started to get sponsorship of some of those products. And actually the pull to try and redeploy them and share this knowledge and develop other people's capability too. And then the external community piece started. So getting hooked into you guys and Keith and Vivek and all that gang. As well as that, there was the Microsoft visibility and linking into Samir and the crew out in Seattle as well. So loads of change and loads of rapid growth. And that growth happened internally as well. So that little model that we used at where we would all come together and learn and share, that started to happen in other places. So we had groups doing that in Pakistan, in India, in Australia, in the US, all over the place, all gaining the same kind of knowledge in the same way and proving that it was an exciting way to work and that it delivered value. Again, the president level of people. So these are people just beneath the CEO. It's that kind of level in the company. They started to get engaged. They started sponsoring things to happen. They started, I think on the next slide, I'll go into what they also did. But we started to partner. So as well as me championing it across the business, I started to hook into the core tech group who ran and managed the platform. Started to shape what that looked like and understand the enormity of how far we'd gone without keeping the horses in the barn. So no, we had to try and get them back in, and still to an extent do today. It's a big task. I got to go to Atlanta, I presented at MBAS, I joined the customer advisory board. So all of these things came from that one little idea at the beginning and a bit of courage to do it. Internally, our head of IT for all of GSK, she called it out as one of the successes in her end of year town hall. We were about 1,300 members then. But there were downsides, there's conflict. So people were creating the same solutions all over the organization. So it gave us another problem that we need to try and manage better. That president level and the exec level, they started to build in that approach, that Power Ranger model into strategic workforce planning. So how are we going to develop digital and data and analytics skills across the organization? This was something exciting. It's something that they saw added value and gave them something that they didn't before. So it started to get baked into those high level senior plans as well. And my role was formalized. So I guess what I haven't said is through that first year, I was actually due to be made redundant. And by embracing these tools and growing this capability, I got a lot of recognition, but a lot of visibility of what I could do as well. And a role was made for me to do more of it. So very exciting. Then we were into this year. So you might have seen the launch of the mixed reality functionality in Power Apps and the geospatial functionality. Worked with Microsoft on that at the beginning part of the year. And they used our demo to launch it internally to Microsoft before it then went live in the April for public as well. So great opportunities. World Economic Forum awarded the Ware site the title of Digital Lighthouse. So one of 44 factories around the world, and the first one in the UK to be held up as an example of how digital could be used in a factory location. And they called out the Power Rangers and what we were doing with the tools as something special, a real distinguishing factor in how we worked. We started to reuse solutions.
Sorry, Simon, just
okay.
to butt in, it's a 2-minute warning for you.
Okay, thank you. So we're reusing solutions. There was increased pull on me because I was on my own and didn't really have a team. So that was another constraint I needed to manage. Microsoft, more strategic partnering. So being the voice from GSK working into Microsoft, the team centrally got resourced more. And some of those platform processes, rolling out the COE kit, worked a little bit more. And just recently, we've run a 10-week boot camp around how people could develop that next level of capability. So we've taken 20 people through that boot camp, engaging people all across the organization to see how they're working and what they needed from us as much as they did from a learning and development perspective. We're having conversations around that security and risk and data privacy element of governance at the moment. So trying to increase the understanding across the organization there too. Now, the last quarter, so where are we now? So we've nearly hit a stretch goal that I kind of plucked out of the air back in February. We're still putting those COE type processes in place, but we're making good progress against it. And those physical groups have not carried on in the same way. So it's now business as usual. It's people using those skills and developing them and using them day to day. So it's really interesting how that's changed. And we've recognized that there's a need to educate people across the whole organization really in data privacy and where they should keep data and the sorts of uses they should have it. And then Power Platform builds on top of that once that problem's solved. And these are really the key learnings. So what are the secret ingredients and why have we been successful? It's really about the people. So finding the right people who are energetic and enthusiastic and want to learn and can change the world with you. Give them the energy and the time and space to do it. Emphasize the learning, not just give them a great big meaty deliverable goal from the start. So remove some of that pressure. And just do it. Have the courage to go and learn anything. So any of us could pick up any of those tools, and I'm sure this is how most of us have developed and learn them as we go. So thank you very much.
Lovely. Round of applause, people, if you would like to come off mute and give Simon
Yay!
a clap.
That's really cool, Simon.
Awesome.
I remember chatting to you when, I don't know, I think you were maybe getting close to 100 members, and at the time you were assigning the Power Rangers different colours, and you were worried that you were going to run out of colours at some point, and that was at sub 100. So what you've done there is nothing short of phenomenal. So really, really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been amazing 2 years. It's been an incredible journey.
It's been
Awesome.
super, super cool. What was your job role beforehand?
So I was working in digital transformation as part of a program of work to look at stuff like virtual reality, augmented reality, workflow type tools, and see how we could remove some of those paper processes and kind of put digital processes in place. So it was certainly linked, but it's gone to a next level now. It's been really exciting.
That's very cool. Something to hugely be proud of, because what we're doing at a bunch of different clients, all of us, I think, is trying to grow these sorts of things. So it's such a good thing for us to kind of take learnings from as well. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Good work. Next up, I think we have Tamara talking to us about customer voice and surveys in 5 minutes. So Tamara, are you good to go?
I am good to go. I'm working on one screen because I seem to have broke my my monitor, so bear with me while I juggle things around, guys.
No worries.
I just want to start with this slide and a very quick intro for anybody that doesn't know me. I think I've met most people on the call, but my name's Tamara Phelan and I head up sales and strategic partnerships. So I work with our SI partners and Microsoft across EMEA. So a little
Tamara,
bit.
do you want to just minimize your Teams window in the bottom right hand corner? I can see myself and do that.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem, no problem. Okay, so just a very brief intro. So Solgari is a global ISV working with Microsoft, and we deliver communication, both live and automated communications. And let me just break it down really quickly, because most people know us for our live communication, but today I want to talk about the automation. So just to provide some background, we sit within Dynamics 365 using the channel integration framework to power our live communication. And then we've got all of our integrated capabilities across all of the channels, the voice, video, chat, SMS, and the contact center, and all of those lovely things I think most of you are aware of. We then have Solgari Automate, and Solgari Automate is, as it sounds, it's the automation behind our platform, and it works seamlessly with Power Automate. So we've got a number of examples where we're using Solgari Automate to send out SMS and IVR and various different channels of communication, and then using Power Automate to take the response and update various entities, create cases based on the response and things like that. So just a little bit of an overview into us. I'm going to end that now and switch across to look at, here we go. So implementing Solgari automated phone survey solution with Dynamics 365. So I want to show you how you can use Solgari's automated voice channels in 3 or 4 minutes, so even quicker than the 5 minutes. Quick background on the solutions. So our phone survey solution is built on top of the latest Dynamics 365 customer voice product, and it's used to easily create automated surveys. So the customer voice survey is converted into a phone survey by Solgari, and we use text-to-speech to ask the questions. We capture the verbal answers and use speech-to-text to write the results back into customer voice and Dynamics 365. Now, unfortunately, our demo environment's hijacked and being used for a partner and prospect presentation, so I had to grab a quick recording, but I promise you it is this easy and this quick to do. So let me just talk you through this here. So first of all, what we're going to do is create a new survey. So as you can see, we're going in, creating a new survey and giving it a name. So this is a COVID-19 screening. Now what we're going to do is just document what we want to say in the greeting. So when the coolie picks up the phone, what they're going to hear to start with. So this is our kind of introduction. Then we're going to start looking at the different questions that we can ask as part of the survey. So the first question is just going to be, have you been in close contact with anyone who's tested positive for COVID? And we're going to have simple yes and no answers.
Have I frozen or is Tamara frozen?
No, I think we've lost her.
Is that me, guys? Am I frozen?
Oh, yes, you're back. You're back.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, fuck. We can hear you, Clem Fandango.
Alison, can you hear me?
Yes.
Anybody?
Yes.
We're with you, Tamara.
We can hear you.
We can. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Good, I'll keep going. All right, sorry, I thought I heard Alison saying I'd frozen. Okay, so in this one, we're going to ask a question that enables a free speech back as well. So yes or no, do you have symptoms? And then describe your symptoms.
Oh, she's gone.
Again?
She's left.
Oh.
She left the
We
meeting.
move on to Ivan and then come back to Tamara in a little while as So Ivan, you told us you can do this in a minute, buddy, but I think you've now got about 25 minutes potentially. So kick back.
Or maybe just tomorrow's time. Around 10 or something?
Yeah, if you want to kind of take it away, Ivan, and then we'll loop back to Tamara as and when she gets her connection back.
No problem. Oh, here she is. Maybe?
I'm so sorry.
Ah, you're back.
I'm back. I don't know how much you heard and where I got lost.
We got through the yes and no questions and then we froze on the symptoms.
Okay. Right. Let me try again.
Have you stopped the kids using the Wi-Fi?
Well, I don't want to go out of the office and beat them. It might take me too long to come back. It's bloody fortnight again. Anyway, okay, so yeah, we had the yes and no questions, and then we had the free flow answer, and then we're just closing off with our closing statement and goodbyes and things like that. And that's it. It really is as simple as you can see. It was 1 minute and 15 in there just to get the survey ready. And now what we're going to do here is we're going to just do a test call. So in a live environment, we would pull in potentially from marketing or something like that, a bulk load of people that we want to send this out to, when to call, like scheduled times, number of times to try and call, etc., and things like that. But this is just a test call, and this is the script that's going to be read. Okay, so just pushing out the test call, which hopefully you guys will still be able to hear.
We can't hear that, I don't think.
Okay, so
Change.
it's saying, basically it's reading the script, guys. Please let us know your experience in the last 24 hours. Have you been in close contact someone that tested positive, yes or no? No. Answering yes or no. Do you have any symptoms that includes fever, coughing, sore throat, difficulty breathing, body aches or loss? Yes. Please, can you describe your symptoms? Fever. Thank you for providing information. A safe. Be safe. Stay. Goodbye. Okay, so what that's done now is collected the survey data and made it available in results. So the real-time survey information is directly integrated with customer and employee records in Dynamics 365 so that you can get all of the related contextual insights. So I think that was 5 minutes, guys. We've flown through. Please let me know if there are any questions.
That was awesome. So basically, it does an automated phone call, and then the responses are recorded back into the CRM. Yeah,
exactly. And you can use, so it can update. It comes directly into Dynamics 365, and then you can use Power Automate to look at the responses and then create a case for a live agent to call. You know, depending on what the results are. So Microsoft and Solgari delivered a solution similar to this for the NHS Wales for the COVID-19 contact tracing, and all of the automation that we use. So we send out SMS and we send out automated IVR, and all of the response that comes back in from the SMS goes into Dynamics, and if the answer to any of the questions is, are you feeling unwell? Yes, like anything is other than no, it will create a case, log the activity, and assign a live agent to get in touch with the citizen.
That's very cool. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions on that?
How does it play with omnichannel? How does it loop in well with omnichannel? Is it one or the other?
Yeah, so I mean, it plays nicely. The live agent channels sit within, they can sit within, but the automation works with Dynamics, so it'll work with any of the apps. You know, it works across Dynamics.
And Larry wanted to know, was it Azure Cognitive Services behind all this fanciness?
Yes, we do use Azure Cognitive Services, yeah.
Very cool.
It's so super easy. So, you know, you can go in and make changes, create a new one. It's literally just so easy, easy to implement and also to maintain.
Very cool. And this is something that you would have ready for any customer now, like anybody that is a Solgari customer could install this, or anybody could install this.
Yeah, I mean, so the customer voice element, you know, the rest of the Solgari kind of solution doesn't even need to be implemented. It's out there on customer voice. So we've got Microsoft utilizing it and presenting it to their customers. So you wouldn't then need the Solgari live agents and things like that as well. Like the customer voice survey is just a solution in itself. It's actually going to be available in App Source in a week or so. The guys are just putting it up.
Very cool. Anna said, "Is this what we talked? This is what we talked yesterday with D365 HR, right?" Oh, okay. Yes. Do you want to chime in, Anna?
No, I'm good.
We discussed that the customer voice yesterday, if it is part of the HR package yesterday,
but it's not a direct inclusion of that. This one, however, is taken quite a bit further than the standard.
So if the license is 75 quid for 2,000 responses, then the NHS must be kicking out some cash on customer voice, I would say.
Well, the NHS Wales used Solgari and Microsoft, and I can tell you the solution was considerably less than millions and billions that the UK has, using clean words, spent on.
Used.
Yes, yeah. So when you look at the waste in the UK, certainly the solution in Wales is extremely cost effective. It's being used, to huge potential as well. I mean, we're talking thousands and tens of thousands of calls and SMSs a day. And what's fantastic is, it can be at any time. You can schedule it, so you don't need to have agents sitting. Sitting online to call everybody. Obviously, you schedule the responses for agents to follow up with if there is any issues. But there's so many more people that you can reach, and really kind of just filter out the ones that you really need to speak to, rather than if you took away the automation and agents were calling those 20,000 people a day. The amount of agents you would need sitting in a contact centre to reach out to find the 6,000 that need to talk to you would be humongous. So the automation's doing a fantastic job of highlighting the people that actually need to be spoken to.
Very cool. Any other questions? No, then round of applause. Thank you very much, Tamara.
Pleasure. Thanks, and apologies for the
It was the random swearing when you weren't sure if we could hear you or not. Was the best bit. I think that was everyone's favourite bit, if I'm honest.
Especially after Alison had told us all to behave.
I'm so sorry. I genuinely thought I'd lost everyone, so I don't even know what I said. Apologies.
It's fine. Right. Lee, I'll hand over to you again. Sorry.
Yeah, no, cool. So thanks for that, Tamara. That was awesome. And I think the kind of, for me, the real key point on that is just the sort of numbers game. Like if you can filter out, I don't know, 50% of your calls or whatever engagements, that's huge savings in call center time or operator time, right? So that's a kind of really wicked tool that I didn't know Solgari could do those bits actually. So that's really interesting. So thank you.
Pleasure.
So last up, we've got Ivan here now, who's going to do PCF in like 30 seconds, and then a minute, and then 15 minutes, I think. So yeah, get rid of my face again off there, Ivan. I don't need to see that. So yeah, this is going to yeah, please don't.
I'm muted. Yeah. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so we don't have much time to spend on talking. We need to code something. Okay, today I will show you some community tools that will speed up your PCF development and make your control out ready to use in less than 15 minutes, or at least I will try to. Okay. So what we will build a control that will trigger on two option set value. So if we trigger it, it will just show some picture that is triggered or not. Okay. So I want to make that control, as you can see, that tiny little guy here. Maybe I can make it bigger. Any Rick and Morty fans here? Do you recognize this guy? This is Mr. Music.
Look at me.
Look at me. Yeah, that's right. So we will make a control that will mimic Mr. Music. So if he's happy, then the value is true. And if Mr. Music is sad because he has no job to do, it will show us the sad Mr. Music. So let's start making this control. Okay, first of all, I want to introduce you a tool created by myself called PCF Generator that will ask you a few questions and got you a project set up, ready to use with all the templates and all the things you knew in just a minute. And you will get a solution that can be imported directly to your environment after you answer all the questions. So basically, I can make a PCF control in less than 1 minute with this tool. Okay, let's get started. So first of all, you initiate it with Yo PCF, press enter, and it will start asking you questions. So first of all, I need a namespace. I always use my Fitz namespace, so I go next. And now the name of control, it will be Mr. Me6 control. Okay. Do I want to create a field or data set? Since I will use two option set, it's a field point control. Do I want to use any frameworks? Well, I work on the component. No, it's a simple one. And which publisher prefix for my solution do I want to create? So I will use Fitz again, and publisher name, my name. Okay. And which solution do I want to build? I would like to build both. Never mind. So now in the background, it creates all the files for you, and when the process finished, you will get the whole project with all the stuff you need to start your development. It will take a few more seconds to finish, but after it finished, we can jump straight to the Visual Studio Code, which is my preference, while building PCFs and start building stuff. So initiate. Oh, did it? Okay. I forgot to make a directory for the control. CD control. And now I need to start the process again. So I will just speed through it because I'm taking time. I'm better with time, but I hope we'll make it. Oh no. Because it, okay. Just go back, code, open the Visual Studio Code and desktop. Sorry for that, guys, but okay, we have that folder, control, that we'll use, and here we got index.ts and the control manifest. We will start working with our control manifest, and that's the main part of your control. You define the UI elements here. So I want to make is checked, check. Oh, typo, solar end. Okay, it's checked again, typo, but never mind. So I will have one property that will have two values, so yes or no. It will be is checked. Display key, I will add that later. And I don't want to use it single line of text. I want to go with two option. The good part here is Danish made a plugin for Visual Studio Code that easily suggests you inputs that you need to make in your manifest. So you have IntelliSense for the manifest file that is not there out of the box. That's just one of the features of his tool. Okay, so we want to use two options and set it to bound. So we have input and output from our control. Okay, now we have the basic part. Let's go to our index.ts and do some quick cleaning just to make it a bit cleaner. Okay, so here it is. So in init method, you need to initialize your component. In update view, you need to update view every time something changes on the form. So the field value changes, the resize happens, anything that will trigger the update of your control goes here. And destroy method, you just use it to clear all the handlers out there and get outputs to send the values back to your host, so your model driven or canvas app. So first we go to init. In init we create one element, so we'll have image element that will hold our image of Mr. Me6, of course. So create create element image. Okay. When we have that image, we need to add that element to our DOM. So we have a container that is provided by the framework, and we just need to append child, which is our image element, to our canvas. Okay, now we have that image element straight in our control, and it's ready to use, but image without anything as source does nothing. So we need to check if our two options set value is true or false to know which Mr. Meeseeks image we want to set. I uploaded those images to web so I can access it directly from the URL, but of course the better way is to include it in your control for better performance, but we'll do it that way. So now we have our image element here. So we initialize it, and we want to go to update view because after the init method, update view is triggered. So we have our context here that provide us with the parameters, and those parameters come from the manifest file that we defined there. So it's not checked. Oh. First of all, I need to build it just to update my typings, and there comes the niche tool again. So if I press Ctrl-Shift-P, I will go to console and type PCF. What do I want to do here? So I want to build a component because I don't know the syntax of PCF CLI tool, and I just initiate build and it will build the component for me. So when the build finishes, you will have the new values in your control. It will just create some files there. Okay, when I go back to parameters, I have that typo is checked variable, and I want to show Mr. Meeseeks based on that variable. To use that variable outside the scope, I need to define it on the class level. I will just paste some code here to speed up things. So I'm cheating a bit because I'm not that good with the time. Okay, so is checked. So here we go. This is checked. We read the variable. It will just be true or false. And based on that, I will set the image source of my image element to yes or no Mr. Meeseeks image. Okay, so now here, because my image is blank here, I need to initialize it also here in my init method. So just basically copied to the outer private variable. Okay, so now we have everything done because it will initially load and change the image based on that value. But we want to click somewhere to move our Meeseeks around to yes and no values. And what do we need to do? We need to add event listener to our image element. Okay, so we are adding an event listener here, and we just want to add a new function that will support that. So here we got event listener. On click, we will just trigger change method that does nothing else than negates our is checked variable and sets again the image source to yes or no image of the Meeseeks. We have notify output change here. What does this do? This basically notifies our host, so model driven or canvas app, that we have an updated value, and we need to pass that value somewhere. Where do we need to pass it? To the get outputs method. Okay, so we is check the typo version. Okay, we want to set that to which variable? So to this is checked, which is our outer scope variable we defined at the top, and we change that variable every time we click on our Meeseeks. Okay, so I save that, and we can see if it's working. We can just again, Control-Shift-P and go PCF start watch, because I don't know the command for that, but Danish should help me here with this one. So test the component with the watch command. Now my component is initializing, and I will be presented with a test harness to see if my control is working. Oh, where is it? Oh, of course I have an error. Yeah, that's why, because I'm on the desktop version. But let's go to my backup version. So I failed. Okay, this is my backup version. So same thing here, PCF watch. I'm initiating the watch here, and it has one more feature that defines the height. Okay, so here is our Mr. Me6. He's happy. He has to do some work. Why? Because our value that we passed in is true. And if we click on the Me6, Me6 becomes sad and our value is changed to false. And we see that we have an output changed to false also. So now we want to build our solution to upload it to the environment to see how that control behaves in the real environment, not just the testing framework, which is really bad when you have more complex controls out there. Okay, so this one is not included in the PCF builder for Visual Studio Code, so I will just copy the command here, jump back to my control. Am I the right one? Yeah. Okay, just cd to solution, cd Mr. Me6 trigger, or no, I'm here. Okay, and initiate that command. When I initiate that command, it will build the solution ready for deployment for me. Okay, in a few seconds we will have a working solution. If we open that solution, reveal in the Explorer, go to the solution folder, bin, release, we have a managed and unmanaged solution for us. Okay, we go to our solution Explorer, okay, here, and import the solution. It's on the desktop, Mr. Me6, trigger control, solution, bin, release, and I want to upload and manage.
I
Now
hate to interrupt, but it's the 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning. Perfect. So I'm in time, actually, with a bit of cheating, but that's okay. So the importing in the new Maker experience, at least for me, takes longer than in classic UI. I don't know if anybody else experienced that too, but yeah. So this solution is still importing, and okay, I will just open my form and show you what we will do when the solution imports successfully. I will just add that control to my contact form, and I will have two representations of the same field. So I created a dummy Mr. Me6 field that holds only yes and no values. And we will see that if we click on the Me6, the other value, that is normal control, has changed. Oh my God, now I have problems with internet connection too. So demogods, where are you? Okay, at least, is there a solution? Solution is imported. Yay, of course. Everything was down because solution it was importing. And I was dumb and I tried to open the forum while publishing changes was in progress. But come on, think a little bit faster. So around 1 minute, still have it? Okay, so
We'll let you have a minute.
Okay, so we go on that Mr. Me6 field, go to the controls, add control, and we see Mr. Me6 trigger control. If we click on it, we see the Me6 GIF here. Okay, add that control. I want to enable it on everything. Okay, I want to make my Mi6 bigger. So there is one more property that I can make my Mi6 bigger. So I want to make it 500 pixels big. Okay, save and publish changes. And I hope that publish will not take that long this time. And when the publish is over, we are ready to see our control in action in the real environment, in our model-driven app. Okay, it's published now, so we go to the active contacts. Just hit hard refresh just to make sure that everything loads fine. And when everything loads, here is our Mr. Mi6 that is bound to the yes and no field. So if we click on the Mi6, he's very sad and the value changes to no. And I hope I didn't go in extra time. I made it quite in time with a bit of cheating, but there is always, because of the demo gods, that's how you do it. Thanks all for your attention, and I hope you at least learned that there are some community tools that you can use and speed up your PCF development.
Awesome.
That was awesome, buddy. That
Brilliant.
was very, very cool.
And I was like in 5th or 6th gear just to make it in time.
Does anybody have any questions?
Who's Mr. Mi6? Is that the sort of question you want? Or what?
I can't.
Is there
Do you know
any
what?
job to do?
I'm not sure that Ivan or I could explain it in a succinct enough way, but Mi6 are not born into this world struggling for meaning. Let's put it that way.
They just want to disappear because they live in pain in our world.
Yes. Existence is pain to me.
That was wicked, buddy. Thank you. It's always cool to see code demos, especially when you kind of come from a devy background. So it's good to see the code that sits behind some of the bits of the platform as well. And like with the tool to kind of spin up that whole project with like bones and all set up, ready to go is just a wicked place to be able to speed up dev on this stuff. It makes such a difference because just some of that scaffolding takes so long for every little PCF control. So that's very, very cool. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
It was way too clever for me.
It's low code, of course.
Yes,
yes, of course. Yeah. Yes,
But there are only like 20 lines
that.
of code. Should we consider that a low code or not?
Yes, I could probably do that, Ivan.
And it was all dot notation, the code, wasn't it? So I think that is low code.
Yeah. Well, I'll have a crack at it later. How about that? We'll see how it turns out. Are you doing the outro for us, Lee?
Go for it. All yours. Carl's got the slides ready.
Yeah.
Well, has he? If you want to follow any of these lovely people, there's the contacts for Simon, Tamara, and Ivan. Is it Ivan or Ivan? I always thought it was Ivan.
It's Ivan.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, like the Russian guys.
I don't know any Russians. So.
You know, always the bad guy in some movie, the Russian guy is called Ivan, and that's how you can remember it.
Do you know how you can work out who the bad guy is in a film early on in the plot? Is they don't have an iPhone. Bad guys are not allowed to have an iPhone. That's true. That's actually serious. As proper Apple branded, they will not allow bad guys to have iPhones in films.
Interesting.
Nuggets of information there. So up next on these are all virtual events, I believe, unless anybody would like to tell me differently, but I'm sure they're all virtual events. We've got the massive Power Platform Community Conference. That's pretty huge. I hope you're all registered for that. There's so much content going on there. I think also, as far as I know, a lot of it's being recorded, so you'll be able to access, if you've got clashing sessions, you'll be able to access them afterwards. Tomorrow night is the CRMUG Northwest. I can't remember who's talking on that. Does anybody on the call know who's speaking?
I know EY's on it. Oh yeah, EY.
I am on it.
How are you? What are you doing, EY?
I'm sandwiching.
You're sandwiching.
And if you want to know why, you can turn up tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, I will be there. I will be there to look forward to your sandwiching. Sounds very exciting.
Rude. That's really rude.
Is it? Do I not know what that is? Yeah, okay, well, we'll move on. Then we've got on 24th CDS Saturday and 28th of October CRMUG Birmingham. And then we've got Power Platform UG on the 29th. Then 31st of October is Global BizApps Day, which should be pretty interesting, I would say. Then we've got Global Con for Turbo Tuesday. If anybody would like, is there anyone here from that?
I don't know who the Global Con 4 is the main one, but they're doing a brief short sessions version on the Tuesday before, a couple of weeks before.
Oh, okay.
That's all I know.
Cool. And then French Power Platform Summit, very exciting. I haven't been to a French one, so I'm definitely going to join that. Then on 25th is the next Power Platform Virtual Happy Hour, which is the last of this format until we have a Christmas special. And then there's another Global Con for on 1st to the 4th of December. So 3 days. That's pretty significant. So all that remains is for me to thank our wonderful guests. Before I do that, I want to say join the mailing list, and that way you get a copy of the recording of the session afterwards, and you'll get an invite sent out for the next session when it's coming up. And also join what's the other QR code?
That's just the LinkedIn page. We're just trying to do LinkedIn events.
Okay, so, and also join the LinkedIn page because we're trying to do LinkedIn stuff. So, yeah. So all that remains is for me to thank our wonderful guests, Simon, Tamara, and Ivan, and give them all a final round of applause. And sorry, we ran a little bit over due to various technical difficulties. Thank you all for coming, and I'm going to turn the recording off now, and if anybody would like to hang around and chew the fat, you are more than welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.